Charles Vernam has signed for Lincoln City. They're doing a Carlisle of Lincoln. They're taking all our players, but the difference is these are good players who they're actually grabbing. I think Elliot Watt will probably end up going to Lincoln too. You know, it could happen. I don't think it will, but it will be going. Elliot Watt, and you know, I just hope that it gets announced as quickly as possible with Elliot Watt, because there's a lot of negativity around the football club right now, and it was so positive, and now it's come negative again. You know, when you're looking on social media, there's people who are getting less optimistic about the season, but I think that will change as long as Elliot Watt's club can announce that he's signed for him as quickly as possible, because I can't see him staying at Bradford City any longer. And you know, with Pawdy and Vernam gone within 2 days, I can see Watt going in the next day as well. He won't be staying. But I will be reviewing the kit later on today. I did have a little hope that Vernam would be walking out in that kit today, but he's walking out in Lincoln's kit, unfortunately. But he played 53 games for us. He scored 9 and got 7 assists in that time. You know, he did have goals to his game. He was quite creative, but I think the main thing with Vernam was his skills. You know, he was very skillful. He had a lot of pace, and he terrorised League Two fullbacks all season. You know, he was injured for quite a bit of the season. I think before Mark Hughes came in, he had a hamstring injury and he was out for around 10 games or so. And then he came back in with Mark Hughes. He didn't rush him back, which I think when we saw Angle, Vernam and Dice had come back, he didn't rush them back, Mark Hughes. He said they could have played a couple of weeks earlier and done a different manager, they might have, but I think that's his experience that is shining through. You know, he will give players chance to recover from their injuries, and that's something we haven't been doing for ages. And we'll hopefully see that next season with Isa and Angle, hopefully not getting as many assists. But we knew Vernam were going to be going. He had a lot of interested clubs. You know, Lincoln were heavily rumoured for the last few months, and Bolton were another club. But he said, my family live here and I'm incredibly proud to represent this club. I'm hoping to play a big role in this club on and off the pitch in the community. I played against Lincoln for numerous clubs before and feel there is a very particular style of play I can fit into. I think the new manager's Mark Kennedy after Michael Appleton. He's gone to Blackpool now. So he'll probably have had a chat to him and he'll probably be saying this is how we're going to play. Which, you know, is interesting, because we have been saying there's this Mark Hughes pull factor. There's the stadium, the fans, you know, which can pull players into our football club. So far we haven't particularly seen it. The only player I can really think of is Jamie Walker. You know, if there's anyone else who we've signed this summer who has had a lot of interest from other clubs, I can't really think of one. So, you know, that Hughes factor isn't here yet, but there's still a month and a half probably left of the transfer window, so it'll be interesting to see if we do make any more signings. Well, we will, but if it's in the coming days, because I think we could make one when the kit gets launched, because there's a lot of negativity, and I'm sure that the club will want to move that, and I'm sure Ryan Sparks will have known that, you know, the Vernam Pawdy announcements will not have, well, everyone knows it won't bring much positivity, so there will be a signing in the process, and he did say that in his last interview, did Ryan Sparks. He also said it's an opportunity to progress and make that step up the division above. Every player wants to play at the highest level, and it's an opportunity to give the club everything as I can as I come into my prime. Because I think he's 26 turning 27, Vernam. So, you know, when you look at Isa, I think he's 25 turning 26. He is a bit younger, but he is a bit more injury prone. So hopefully we can keep Isa fit, because I do think Isa has a lot to offer. He was brilliant at Scunthorpe, and there was a lot of optimism around that signing when we signed him. And we had Isa, Vernam, and Crankshaw at the time. We had a lot of wingers fighting for places, and you know, last season we were getting really optimistic, and Isa didn't work out. Crankshaw left. Vernam came in at Gilead as well, who didn't work out on the wing. So, you know, last season it didn't really work out for a lot of the players who we were excited about seeing. apart from Vernam, who has joined Lincoln. So, you know, I think it is a sad one for us because Vernam's been such a good player for us in the 18 months we've had him. But there's also something that I want to say is, how much of an effort are we doing to actually keep these players before we've come to this point? Because these players know they're going into the last 12 months of the contract. So if we could offer Paudie O'Connor a contract last summer to extend it to 2 or 3 years, he knows that, well, actually I can wait till the summer, see how good of a season I have and see what the interest is, same with Vernam and Watt. So we were never going to be able to sell them then, and we were never really going to be able to offer them a contract last season. So it's then, the last 2 years, that you've got to look at these contracts and say, right, who do we really think's going to progress? And this is when I look at Ryan East, Elliot Watt. You know, Elliot Watt won a 2-year contract. You know, Paudie O'Connor, he's been here 3 years, so I can give a little bit, but then that first season we must have known how good he's going to be, so try and offer him an extra year. You know, these little things that football clubs need to get on board of and City do, because other clubs, for example West Ham, when Declan Rice broke into a team, they offered him a new contract. He's now there for a couple more years, and you know, he can't go on a free this summer. And that's the thing we need to start doing. We need to start looking at these youngsters and seeing if they are promising enough and if they are really gonna push on under our team. But I do understand the point that we are constantly appointing managers, we are constantly bringing new players into the club because we're bringing new managers into a club. So it isn't, you know, I can't think of the word, but the problem is they keep bringing players in, you know, new managers are coming in, so it's hard to keep a core of players. And you know, why would they want to extend? And I think that is the problem we have. You know, we do have to start becoming like Forest Green Rovers, who, when a manager's sacked, they know who they're going to bring in, they know which players are going to come in, and they know which system they're going to work under. They have a set style. Leicester City, for example, as well. They know what calibre of manager they're looking for, and they know which players are going to suit that system, and they do it continuously. We need to start doing that. And if Mark Hughes doesn't work out, we need to go for a manager who plays like that. You know, when we had Eddie Wahick, we had Michael Collins, who wanted to pass out from the back, have loads of possession, entertaining attacking football. And then we go and get David Hopkin, who plays direct and doesn't want to pass it out from the back. So then you have two contrasting teams with two contrasting players. With Ryan Sparks, is there a difference with that? I can't remember if we're here for Bowyer or if Rhodes were here for Bowyer, but you know, I don't think he was the most attacking manager. You know, last 3 we've had McCall. I know he appointed McCall. Yeah, I can understand. He does play quite similar. Derek Adams, not particularly, quite defensive, direct football. And then Mark Hughes completely different to Derek Adams. So, you know, we do have to have a set way, and we do have to move into a direction where we're going to do that. Otherwise, what I've said about the contracts ain't going to work. Players are going to want to commit, because what if they get frozen out and then the future's gone and the career's gone, because it is a short career. But let me know what you think. Are we not thinking ahead with contracts? Vernam going, it is disappointing, and how disappointed are you? And can we easily replace him? And is Abuaisa the man to take his role next season? I think he is, if he can keep fit, but we probably do need to sign another winger. I won't be surprised if there is news when the kit gets launched. I'll be doing a video on that later, but for the meanwhile, have a good one.